Today on MTG Unpacked, we're going to take a look at the new 2021 Challenger deck. So today we're taking a look at the Mono Red Aggro. So here we go. This is one if you like lots of small creatures getting in for early damage, also known as red deck wins. So using burn spells and overwhelming them with a steady stream of fierce and fiery friends, you get a 60 card deck, 15 card sideboard, 6 double-faced helper cards, 5 double-sided tokens, and deck box. Let's get into it. So these were released on April 2nd, 2021. Red deck wins, in case you weren't sure about that. They are going for about 25 to 30 bucks US. So nice deck box here. And let's see, we've got a divider, very cool. Alright, and this is the sideboard. We'll take a look at that closer to the end of the video. And the deck itself, that's it. Alright, so let's get into it. So the Challenger decks, in case you're not aware, these are standard legal decks. They're supposed to be somewhat competitive in the standard format. They sometimes cut a few corners, as we shall see. So let's sort through here. So we'll get the lands, we'll do those towards the end. We want to get into the meat of the deck first. So let's take a look, and I've actually put this through its paces on MTG Arena. It's not bad, it could do with a few tweaks, but pretty much what you would expect. So we start off here with Shatter Skull Smashing. It's a mythic sorcery for X and 2 red. Deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more, Shatter Skull Smashing deals twice X damage divided as you choose among them instead. So it can be useful in the early game and also in the late game, doing some more damage. On the other side, you can actually choose which side you cast when you draw this one. Shatter Skull, the Hammer Pass. It's a land, enters battlefield. You may pay 3 life. If you don't, it enters battlefield tapped. Tap it for red. Okay, so there we go. So we get a couple of those. Next up we have Spikefield Hazard. Instant for a single red. Deals 1 damage, 20 target. If a permanent dealt damage this way would die this turn, exile it instead. Alright, so that helps avoid some graveyard shenanigans. On the other side we've got Spikefield Cave. Enters battlefield tapped, tap it for red. Okay, so a couple of those. So you're sort of thinning out the... okay, so what do we got? 4 of those. Thinning out the mana, and you get some useful spells on the other side in case you don't need the mana. MacLeod, it's another mythic. Legendary artifact equipment for 6 with flash. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When it enters battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. And here's the crazy part, equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. That is pretty insane. Equip it for 3, and if you believe in the cleave, there should be more than one, but there is not. Okay, so that would be one thing I would upgrade. You probably want to have 3 or 4 of those in this deck to really pump up your creatures. Fervent Champion, creature human knight, 1/1 for a single red with first strike and haste. So this bloke you drop down early on in the game, get in some early damage. Whenever Fervent Champion attacks another target attacking knight you control, gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So he pumps up his friends as well. Equip abilities, you activate the target Fervent Champion. Cross 3 less to activate. So you know what? You want to be putting an Embercleave on him. That would work nicely. I'm expecting to see 4 of these. Not disappointed. Okay, good. Kargan Intimidator, creature human warrior, 3/1 for 2. Cowards can't block warriors. So what's the deal with this? For 1, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Kargan Intimidator gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Target creature becomes a coward until end of turn. That's fun. Target warrior gains trample until end of turn. Okay, so nice little menu of options there. 3, 4 of those. Okay, that's probably one I would cut back a bit. Although it is good on the 2-drop slot. Then we have Bone Crusher Giant. So this one has 2 parts here. We've got Stomp, 1 and a red, instant adventure. Damage can't be prevented this turn. Stomp deals 2 damage to any target. So it's basically a more versatile shock. And the giant portion here, whenever Bone Crusher Giant becomes a target of a spell, Bone Crusher Giant deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. So 4/3 for 3. Pretty cool. And this is another key piece. I'm expecting to see 4 of these. Okay, very cool. Torbrand, Thane of Redfell. So as we move up the mana curve here, so a 4-drop. Legendary creature, Dwarf Noble, 2/4 for 4. If a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead. So we're running only red sources here. So you get him out, you're going to do a bit more damage each time. Works nicely. Okay, so we got 3 of those. That's probably about right. Akoum Hellhound, another 1-drop here. Creature Elemental Dog, 0/1 for a single red with landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield and under your control, Akoum Hellhound gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So another fun one you put out early on in the game and pump him up whenever you're putting the lands down. So we're probably going to have 4 of those. Yes. Okay. Rimrock Knight, Creature Dwarf Knight, 3/1 for 2. So again, the 2 parts here, you've got Boulder Rush for a single red instant adventure. Target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So pumping your creatures up comes in handy. The Creature Dwarf Knight portion, 3/1 for 2. Rimrock Knight can't block. That's the downside there. So let's see, we've got 4 of those. Okay, I was expecting to see this one too. Anax, Hardened in the Forge. So this is a star 3 for 3. Anax's power is equal to your devotion to red. And again, each red in the mana cost of permanents you control counts towards your devotion to red. Hopefully you're going to have a ton of those on the battlefield. Whenever Anax or another non-token creature you control dies, create a 1/1 red Satyr creature token with. This creature can't block. And if the creature had power 4 or greater, create 2 of those tokens instead. So you get a bit of extra value there when he dies. Okay, or actually another non-token creature dies as well, so that's pretty cool. And what would a mono red aggro deck be without shock? Instant for a single red, deals 2 damage to any target. They're probably going to put 4 of these in here as expected. Yep. Royal Eruption, sorcery for 2, kicker 5, so you can pay that additional cost as you cast this spell. It deals 3 damage to any target, so remove some of those slightly larger creatures, or actually would work with planeswalkers as well. If the spell was kicked, it deals 5 damage instead. Alright. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that is the deck proper. Then we have some non-basic lands here. We'll take a look at those. Castle Embereth enters battlefield tapped unless you control a mountain. Tap it for red for 1 and 2 red. Tap, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. So you can pump up the team, get a little bit more damage in there. So 2 of those. Mountains. Okay, so 16. So normally you want to have like 22, 23 lands, but you've got the mountains. And then this is what I meant about the deck thinning. You've got these double face cards. So on the other side, well, here we go. So you've got lands, Shadowskull. So you've got your 16 and another, what is that, 6. So it takes you to 22. So that can be handy if you've got tons of lands. Play the spells. If you've got tons of spells, not enough mana, play that instead. Okay, so that is the main deck. Looks pretty good, about what I would expect. Like I said, you want to pump up with a few extra Embercleaves there. And the sideboard. So this is when you're playing like best of 3. You want to counter some of the opponent's decks. And let's see what we have. Relic Robber. Creature Goblin Rogue. Yes, I do like the goblins. 2/2 for 3 with haste. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player creates a 0/1 colorless goblin construct artifact creature token with this creature can't block, and at the beginning of your upkeep, this creature deals 1 damage to you. Okay, so sort of does some extra damage on your behalf there. So 2 of those. Roiling Vortex. Enchantment for 2 at the beginning of each player's upkeep. Roiling Vortex deals 1 damage to them. That includes you as well. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast that spell, Roiling Vortex deals 5 damage to that player. So if people think they can cheat things out for no mana, then they've got another thing coming with this one. For a red, your opponents can't gain life this turn. So that's useful for the white life gain decks. Soul Guide Lantern, so artifact for 1. When it enters battlefield, exile target card from a graveyard and tap, sack it. Exile each opponent's graveyard. So some graveyard hate here. Some decks like to pump up their graveyards with lots of creatures and then bring them back. For 1, tap, sack it, draw a card. So you've got a choice there. You can either use it to banish a graveyard or get some card draw. 2 of those. Red Cap Melee up next. Instant for a single red deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If a non-red permanent is dealt damage this way, you sacrifice a land. So that's the downside to that one, but gets rid of some of those larger creatures or gets additional damage in. 4 of those. Thundering Rebuke, sorcery for 2, deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Again, more removal if you really need it. So we're probably going to have, okay, we just got 3 of those. Soul Seer, instant for 3, deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Holy cow. That permanent loses indestructible until end of turn. Okay, so that is handy for getting rid of those pesky creatures that you would not otherwise be able to get rid of. And then tokens, so we've got a Satyr, and on the other side, the Goblin Construct. So let's see, we've got a bunch of those. Yes, it's just the same thing. And these cards here can be used to replace the double face cards here, representing those in case you're playing without sleeves. But in most cases, you will want to play with sleeves. See, there's only one side on these, so that's why they're helpful. Okay, so this, to me, I'm doing the decks in order that I like them. This is probably my favorite of the bunch. I usually like Mono Red Aggro anyway, especially the Goblins. So like I said, one thing to consider with the upgrading, maybe chuck in a few more Embercleaves and cut some of those other cards, and also the rotation. So you got to consider some of the older sets will be rotating out in another 6 months or so from the time of filming. So the Bone Crusher Giant is one of those. So you'll lose those 4 cards. Basically, it won't be standard legal. Fervent Champion, you'll lose another 4. Embercleave, 1. So you've got 9 cards there. The Zendikar stuff's still okay. Castle Embereth as well, you'll lose that. And of course, some of the things in the sideboard, I don't remember. So M21, you'll lose those. And of course, the Red Cap Melee will go. Soul Guide Lantern, I think that will be gone as well. Yeah, so you will lose a bunch of cards. You get about 6 months of playtime out of this, so not too bad. So let me know in the comment section what you think, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button for more Magic the Gathering unboxings, and be sure to tap the notification bell to be notified as soon as new videos are released. And stay tuned, we will be getting to the rest of the 2021 Challenger decks today. So if your favorite has not yet appeared, it will be up on the channel shortly. Hope everyone's staying safe and healthy out there. Thanks for watching and have a great day.